Ball Pit released in October of 2025 on Steam, PlayStation 5, the Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox Series X, along with a day one release on Game Pass. Part Vampire Survivor with some city building aspects and an addictive gameplay loop that has you fighting block-like enemies in a long hallway by throwing balls at them, Ball Pit retails for $15 US, but you can get a free 1-hour trial on PlayStation through the store if you have PlayStation Plus Premium. So, is Ball Pit worth playing on console? This review is going to answer that question. Let's start the review, as we always do, by discussing the graphics and technical performance of Ball Pit on console. For graphics, the game has a retro pixel art style that really works for what it's going for. There are two main parts of the game: the overworld, where you're building a small town to collect resources and construct buildings for upgrading your characters, and the bullet hell shooter, where your character progresses down a long hallway fighting enemies. There are 8 levels here, and while they are functionally the same, the scenery on the side and the color palette are really the only things that change. For technical performance, the game ran flawlessly. I didn't have any slowdown or bugs or crashes. This is a polished and optimized game, and even when things get super busy on the screen, the FPS stays rock solid. Alright, the story of Ball Pit is simple. There was a city called Balbalon, and it was destroyed by a meteor, leaving a giant crater in the ground. People constructed a giant elevator to take them down into this giant hole and to look for resources and artifacts. That's the game. You play as an adventurer doing runs into a giant hole looking for treasure. The game does have an ending. It's a short cutscene that's going to leave you confused on what exactly happened here, but overall, there isn't really a story, it's more of just a setting. This isn't a narrative-driven game at all, and there isn't any lore collectibles or anything like that to flesh out the world. There's a hole in the ground with an elevator that leads into it, and that's about it. Moving on, let's dive into the gameplay of Ball Pit. It's a pretty simple premise, that it's really hard at the start and it gets easier as you upgrade and unlock characters. As I said before, the game is separated into 2 parts. The first section is the overworld, where you collect and use resources like gold, stone, wood, and wheat to build houses that brings in new characters and provide upgrades. Every time you visit the overworld, you can send all your characters out to harvest resources by bouncing off the walls like a game of pinball. Each time they bounce off a building that's under construction, they progress the build. You can purchase new tiles to expand your settlement, but this overworld map is essential for upgrading your characters, as the game can be hard if you don't pump them up. There are even special upgrade buildings that let you start with higher level special balls and passives, and one that lets you play the game with 2 characters during a run instead of 1, combining their abilities and skills. The second part of Ball Pit is the runs themselves. You descend through an elevator, going through floors one at a time. Each time you beat a level with a character, you collect a gear that goes towards unlocking the next level. Runs always function the same, with your character running through a long hallway as enemies go towards you. Some can shoot projectiles at you, but the main way they attack is either getting close enough to your character to take a swing at you, or reaching the bottom of the screen where they automatically attack. If they reach the bottom, they'll attack you regardless of where you stand, and then they'll disappear, or in the case of a mini-boss, they'll just keep attacking until you die or you manage to kill them. You collect XP gems the same way as you would Vampire Survivors, leveling up your character. This does bring you a small stat boost, but it also provides the option of special balls or passive abilities. You can hold 4 special balls and 4 passives at the start of the game, and they each go up to level 3. There's also a special upgrade that you collect in the runs that let you evolve your balls or passives into new forms or fuse them together in interesting ways, enhancing them while also freeing up space in your inventory. Unfortunately, there isn't a way to delete a passive or a ball, so if you make the wrong choice in a run, you're kind of stuck with it. Evolutions are hidden during the item selection screen, but you can reasonably assume that if a ball or a passive has similar abilities to another one, they can evolve together into something. There are so many combinations of passives and balls that it makes each run feel unique, and even after putting in over 25 hours, I was still finding combos that I hadn't seen before. Once you beat all the levels, preferably with all your characters so you can get a completion bonus, you beat the game. Then you're treated with a short cutscene, and you get New Game Plus, which is much harder than the base game, but you keep all your upgrades. The characters themselves provide bonuses with the expected higher fire rate or more special balls, but several of them completely change the way the game plays. One fires balls from the top of screen rather than the bottom. Another turns the game into a turn based RPG, slowing the game down significantly and making it much easier but time consuming. There's one that just picks all the upgrades for you, and another one that plays the game like an auto battler, allowing you to just leave him alone to play and pick upgrades. When you unlock the ability to have multiple characters on a single run, you'll find interesting synergies with these characters, and again, it just adds to the replayability and the fun. So, to answer the question, is Ball Pit worth playing on console? Absolutely. This game was super addictive, and I put in over 25 hours in just a couple days. I was hooked, and I think that anyone who plays this game will feel the same. I'm the Casual Console Gamer on YouTube, and I'll see you all in the next review.